Hey, how you doing? This is the Red Pill Dispensary, checking in from just outside Boston here. And just a few things I wanted to go over with you guys. I'm hoping to do a show, but I just don't know if it's gonna happen. Olivia's on a horrible sleep schedule right now. I actually I actually have been. I'm not like sick, but I got like wicked like sniffles, and I'm lethargic. I don't think I have the coronavirus. I wouldn't see why. I've just based on some of the science and everything. We've basically self isolated. Um, Olivia did go to a birthday party with my mother over the weekend. Um, my mother takes her always on Saturday and the weekend. They went to a birthday party. She seems fine, and plus symptoms wouldn't show that quick. That's another false, by the way, a false thing that's going around that you know you'll start showing symptoms within 4 days. That's not what the science says. It can take you weeks to show symptoms. If you're of a certain age and extremely healthy, you might not even notice the symptoms. So I keep hearing that in so many different places, from the Rogan podcast to on TV to articles. You start showing symptoms in a few days, or somebody doesn't show symptoms in a few days, and they're like, "Oh, you're good." You don't start showing symptoms for weeks. So if I was, let's say, sick, it would be from 3 weeks ago. You know, and I do worry with. Well, I can't really get into it. It's kind of personal life, but it has to do with somebody that you guys know, and who knows what they're bringing. So that's what I worry about a little bit. But anyways, a couple things I wanted to talk about. Just so you know, I know this for a 100% fact. They are underreporting the number of cases. 100% fact. Underreporting the cases. Um, I can't get into the sourcing because whatever. 100% fact that they are under. We already know that they're doing that in China. They're doing that in Iran. But the U.S. is underreporting the cases. Um, Makes you wonder. Also, every 14 every 14 days, this virus so far, and this has been constant. They haven't figured out a way to stop this. When you look at it on a graph, it it goes up times 10 every 14 days. Every 2 weeks, the virus goes up times 10. And when you look at it on a graph, you know the 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 trajectory where it's going to end up, it's it's uh it's scary. And one of the big reasons that I wanted to talk to you guys was this. I was waiting until enough people got in here. On Sunday, I received information from like 5 different people, including people who are not truther, you know, and they all said at 6 o'clock they are going to um, enforce this. The National Guard would be called in, and they were going to shut down Massachusetts. Massachusetts is like one of the hot spots right now. It's like eastern Massachusetts. I mean, when you look at the numbers, Massachusetts has the fourth highest amount of cases. Yet all of the cases, for the most part, I think maybe even all, are from central Mass to east. The other side of Mass I mean, it's not populated like the eastern side of Mass. So basically, when you think of it, you take half of Massachusetts, and then you compare that to these bigger states that have more numbers, like New York, which New Rochelle has a huge problem. Um, New York is right above it. Washington, I mean, they were the first. And also, that nursing home was like a kind of like a center of where it came from. And then what's the other state? Oh, California. And when you take the size of Massachusetts and put it in these states, I mean, you could put Massachusetts in the hundreds, and California, just half of it, which is where the cases are. You could put it. I don't even know how many times, but it's probably some number that blows your mind. Um, so like just in I live in a city. It's not even a big city outside Massachusetts, and there's already 3 cases just in this city. And it's a small city. It was a town up until a few years ago. I'm trying not to dox myself, but I don't even care at this point. Um, People know who I am. So I got a call saying they're gonna shut everything down Sunday at 6 p.m. Now, not only that, um, I got a bunch of people that contacted me. Apparently, depending on what service you have, there was a certain service where 1/3 of their users received a text that there's a national lockdown. 1/3 of them received this text, so people are freaking out. It's all over the internet on Sunday. Everything was supposed to shut down at 6 p.m. That's the same information I was getting, except it was coming from like actual sources who would know. And at the same time, a text goes out. I forget which service it was, but it was something like 1/3 of the people got this text. Um, Supposedly, it turned out to be a hoax. Did anyone here get that text? I would assume someone here must have got that text. I mean, they just said it on the news. They were like 1/3 of people got that text, or at least it was kind of weird how they said at least 1/3 of the people who had that certain service. Um, Either it was hacked, or what. Um, so how you guys doing, Pepper Gal? How you doing? Um, yeah, Pepper Gal, Mass, it's crazy right now. You know that. Brandy, how you doing? Sure Bear, hey, good to see you. I am Ainsley. Always good to see you. How do you choose prayers, please? I will be praying for you. And towards the beginning of this, if you guys look in the live chat, look at what I am Ainsley. Prayers are needed there. I'll pray for you. I mean, it is scary. Today, right now, today is a day that, I mean, we might break the record, but it's like every day they break a record. Today was the biggest drop in the market of all time. Now, that kind of blows my mind a little bit. It's like, what about the Great Depression? You're telling me this was a bigger drop than the Great Depression? But then again, the market's a lot bigger, so the market dropping X amount of points, could mean less than what the market was back then, dropping X amount of points. But bottom line, biggest drop in the market of all time today. After a few days ago, we had the biggest drop in the market since '87. But then after these days, the government comes out and says something, and basically the market, it's all based on, um, like, unfortunately, I mean, what a crappy way to say. It's all based on like fears, um, stability, um, and like the opposite of what is going on in the world right now is stability. So the markets are responding horribly. And on top of it, there's the obvious stuff like, I don't know, people not going to work, people being forced not to work, which could be a good thing because they keep on talking about this curve. And I should have had a piece of paper. And so basically, like for instance, in Italy, there's this curve, right? And what you want to do is you want to flatten that curve because if that curve keeps going up and then peaks, then you have too many people sick at once. So the whole plan is to keep that curve from shooting up, into that bell curve. You want to have like a flat, more of a flat curve. That way, people are going to be sick. You know it's going to spread, but it's not in one place or in many places at once. You know where a ridiculous amount of people are sick. So that's kind of the whole idea between social distancing, why they're shutting down markets, at least on the surface. Now, I've heard a lot of theories, a lot of that. I'm just telling you what, the mainstream idea. And you know what? According to the scientists, I heard them talking about this like last week when Italy was really, really, it's really bad, but they were talking more about Italy, and they were saying it's going to happen like that in the U.S. And they're right, it is, and it is happening. And that curve, they do not want it to reach the peak. You want it to stay flat. And the ways to do that is, like I said, not have a bunch of people together. Not have these situations, because in almost every state, I can't think of the situation in Massachusetts. I don't know why Massachusetts is getting hit so hard. Um, the numbers aren't as high as these other states, but it's still the fourth highest numbers in the country. And it's such a small state, and it's really only happening in half of the state. So in these other ones though, you know these certain like points where, okay, that's where the spreads start. Um but yeah, that's the whole point. Avoiding getting ahead of that curve and making it instead of going up, make straightening it out, because they want it, if it goes like this, they can't handle all those patients. They know people are going to get sick, but if they can slow down then and keep it at a steady rate, then they can continue to treat people. That's the thought behind everything, basically. And the market is responding the way it does. Yet at the same time, we've seen these in between these huge drops. We see the market shoot up. Usually it's based on Trump, the Feds made a cut, or Trump comes out, and a lot of it, it's amazing how much, like, you could just go, if Trump speaks and he declares some the things he's been declaring, that's when it drops. If he comes out, kind of plays it down, it doesn't do so bad, and then he announces something like a plan, whether it's money or all these things with businesses, and the market goes back up. Now, people who are extremely rich, if you're in the know and you already know, okay, so today they're going to make an announcement that's devastating. Well, what do? You sell. All of a sudden, it's wicked low, but you know that they're about to make an announcement that, um, you know, like for instance, the Fed cutting rates. If you're in the know, you buy, and you buy big time, especially in certain places where you know it's going to shoot up. Sure enough, it shoots up. We've never had a fluctuation of the market like this, where it's like day by day shooting up, shooting down, shooting up, shooting down. And what happens when the market shoots up and shoots down, shoots up and shoots down, is people who are in the know get extremely rich. So that's my theory on that. I don't think that that's the reason for it, but maybe it is, but I don't think so. I think it's just that's what they do. They take advantage of disasters and get rich off it. Let me see what you guys are gonna say. So I'm gonna say hello. Wow, there's a lot of people. I don't want to say. Can I say hello to everyone? Scotty Knucknose, how's it going, brother? Um, Wingnut, hey, they raided Oprah's Florida home, and that's another thing. With this Q stuff, what if right now they're making their move? Because basically it's like now or never. And when I say now, it's like in the next couple months or never. Or as far as this whole thing with Q, it's gotta happen now or never. If it's real, which I think it is. I just don't know if what the intentions are behind it. Is it AI? Because I just don't understand how they're able to tell you what the president's going to say before he says it. I don't understand how the president will tweet something that has everything to do with Q. It just keeps happening, things like this. So we'll see. Look at that. So we got CH-47s and CH-53s in the air in New Orleans. I mean, we've never experienced anything like this. Basically, like, the whole reason I made this channel, the whole reason I'm so interested in the alternative is, one, because the Smith-Mundt Act happened, so you can't believe the mainstream. They can be told what to do, and it seems that they have no problem doing it. And when that happens, there's a lot of information out there that all you have to do is find it. A couple sources. Also, just knowing how to research, looking at what they're doing, really thinking about it, and most of all, keeping an open mind. Don't marry any ideas. Pink Poppet in California. Trip, how you doing, brother? It's time to wake up. Good to see you here. Virus is a hoax. See, now let's take what It's Time is saying. So he says virus is a hoax. If you need to worry about the martial law people and the crazies that will fall for this. Now let's say that he's correct, because I don't dismiss any ideas at this point. This is unprecedented. This could be fabricated for reasons of what they're doing with Q. It could be fabricated because there is a war potentially about to happen. If you're paying attention to what's going on with Syria and Turkey and Russia, it could just be fabricated to test us. It could just be The only thing with the whole fabrication thing is actually, you know what? I don't know anyone personally, but where I live, I do know of somebody that I've seen that is one of the three that have it, and they work at City Hall. But I don't really know them. Hey, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Yeah, exactly. I hope you guys prepped, and if you didn't, depending on where you live, it might not be too late. Um, whether it's whether this is going to spread and infect, and we don't flatten it out like we hope, and it hits that bell curve, which is the worst case scenario, or if it's totally a fabrication, like its wake says. I'm sorry, is it It's Wake? I'm sorry, I'll get it in a minute. It's Time to Wake Up is his name. Whether it's one or the other, I don't see prepping hurting because you could prep for a national disaster. You could prep for so many different things. It's good to have. I got a ridiculous amount of rice, beans, um, and a bunch of other stuff, and some things I'm not gonna announce on here. Um, you need more alcohol. Well, you know, I don't know in which way you mean, but if you can't find alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, whatever it is you're looking for, um, one thing that people aren't so much aware of, and it lasts on the shelves the longest, is hydrogen peroxide. I've mentioned this many times. That's what people, paramedics, if they have someone who just bled out in their ambulance and there's blood everywhere, I mean, that's, you need to disinfect serious, right? They'll take these bottles of hydrogen peroxide and just everywhere, just all over it, and in their gear. They're, of course, that they're in gear, and they put hydrogen peroxide everywhere and wipe it down. So hydrogen peroxide, if you can't find rubbing alcohol, grab hydrogen peroxide. Let's see. Yeah, and there's certain places like I think of like Orlando. Their whole economy is off of tourism. And now they forget about flying from other countries. They're discouraging people from flying within this country. Um, yeah, the market. Yeah, the market is. Honestly, when it really comes down to it, and you really like learn certain things about the market, it's truly ridiculous that our economy is so tied to something that is like a illusion almost. It's not. Yeah, it can be manipulated so easily, as we've seen. Depending on what the news of the day is the market, and something like that is dangerous because it can be taken advantage of. Obviously, uh, I just worry. It's time to wake up. See, I like your mentality, but sometimes it's like people believe everything they hear. But then there's people who just dismiss everything they hear. I think the truth is not in the middle. It's more towards dismissing what you hear, but it's not dismissing everything you hear. That's my only concern with you, is that you just are pretty quick to dismiss everything. Um, it's better than accepting everything. I'll admit that, but I would worry about that. Um, all right, so anyone interested in yeah, yeah, you just not the panic is exactly. Yeah, yeah. I don't dismiss the virus personally, but like I said, I'm not married to any idea. I take things as they come. And I've been, if you look back in my videos, when nobody was talking about this, and maybe by design, I was sounding the alarm. This isn't just something that, all of a sudden I'm trying to, sound the alarm bells. I sounded the alarm bells a month ago. No, it's March. It was like January, from January 23rd to the 27th. I did a string of videos. The 27th was probably the most informative video. I might make that like my featured video. I think people should see that. So, I have a question. Does anyone here know anybody that is sick with the coronavirus? Like they confirmed it was the coronavirus. Well, now you're getting somewhere, Purple Gal. The staff at law. Nobody. Nope. 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 It's time to wake up. I'll keep what you say in mind. I honestly do. I have on other shows. Just it'll pop in my head, and I'll start thinking of it from that aspect. I think I do a lot of thinking. It's a blessing and a curse. It's like ignorance is bliss. So not one person here knows anyone. Yeah. See, with me, there's 3 cases and it's not a big city. Like I said, it was a town. Only 3 years ago, it was a town. So, and I do know somebody. They work with the city, but the thing is, I don't know them. So, but I know it's them. I've seen them. We'll see. But in the meantime, I would be doing you all a disservice if I didn't say to prep, if I didn't say to do everything you can to avoid this virus. I'm not going to sit here and say that the virus is fake. I'm not going to do that. Like, what's going on in Italy? Is that just fake? I mean, China, you never know with China. But Italy, is that just all? Is that fake too? You know what I mean? Um, I've done a lot of thinking on this, and trust me, I have an open mind, and I don't marry ideas. You know, some people they're so stubborn, especially on YouTube. If they have an idea, that's what it is. Period. But then again, here I am. I do basically stick to what I said originally back January 20. The best video was January 27th. I might feature it. We were very accurate. According to the mainstream, we were accurate to the origins as well. Except I've changed my mind on that. I think the origins are, man made. So, all I know is regardless of what you think, real, fake, I'm saying real, but I have an open mind. But regardless of which way you think, what I will tell you is if this is real, then life as we know it is going to change. If it's fake, then whatever this is setting up for life as we know it is going to change. And I hate to like say something like basically scary. Um, and it is scary. A lot of people are scared. But if you hit your knees and you pray, there's no need for fear. No need for that. I'll be hitting my knees. I'll pray for all of you. In particular by name. I'll pray for I Am Ainsley as well and what's going on with her. But the most important thing, I think, again, to combat this, whatever it ends up being, or however worse or not so bad, where it leads, or what's next, because that's where I'm looking. What's next? So I'm looking at what else is going on besides this virus. Um, because every channel, it's coronavirus 24/7. That right there is an indicator. It makes me worry, and I'm thinking, okay, no, there's something else that we are going. There's going to be some store. Like for instance, they never talked about the fact that they just figured out that they can now mass produce quantum computers. Instead of magnetic resonance, they can use electric resonance, which they found out by accident. Huge news. I mean, as far as like the future and what's coming in the future, huge news. Never heard it mentioned once. Um, so those are the stories I'm looking for. As well as I'm following the situation over in Syria very closely. Um, so I don't know. I just wanted to check in with you guys. And although everything I'm talking about is wicked scary, if you hit your knees and you pray, you won't be scared. That's another thing. Scotty Nuck. So you actually know a little bit about frequency, I can see. So so that five, the number five, you guys know the deal. The towers, you guys know the deal. There's different types of frequencies. It's like alpha, beta, gamma, the X-ray. These are all different frequencies. Gamma is the worst one. Um, that'll go. That's the type. That's the type that will make your heart stop. That's the type I was warning about the other day when I talked about how at 60 gigahertz, if they dial it to 60 gigahertz and focus it in one spot, they can take someone out easily because basically it takes, you have your hemoglobin has the iron and oxygen, and it removes the iron. I'm sorry, it removes the oxygen, which all of a sudden your heart isn't get, and you have a heart attack. So yeah, that was Scotty Nuck. So you have an idea about that stuff. Um, to mention gamma. So I don't know if that's a word that's gonna get. Well, I'm still here, but the most important thing, despite all that, there's a lot. It's a lot to worry about, and this is just a virus. Forget about the capabilities of technology that can be taken advantage of at this point. Or on Sunday, what seemed to be a hoax that they were going to there was going to be a national shutdown. Everyone would be basically kind of like locked in their homes. Like a forced. There's a certain terminology they use for, basically being stuck in your home. Um, I think that's going to happen. Um, because it's just going to get worse and worse. And every day we hear more news, more cities announcing more, um, they're taking the steps. And we're basically at that step where the next step is, hey, no one can leave their house in order to prevent, supposedly, which is legit scientifically, that bell curve. All right, you want it to be, you want to flatten it out so that you don't have all, a ridiculous amount of patients that you can't. Our health system, we wouldn't be able to treat all those patients, especially if it's in a concentrated area. So with that, um, pray up, prep up, and stay frosty. This is the Red Pill Dispensary checking in.